It's the hot topic, and 2024 was hotter than ever. In fact, for the first time the world breached 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. However, taking part in the debate about climate change is out of reach for some people. But that's all about to change. I'm on my way to Edinburgh University, where a team created a new climate change terms for British Sign Language users to take part fully in the conversation. The team is made up of people working in various fields, including conservation and linguistics, putting careful thought into each new concept.
For a long time, we didn't have any vocabulary in sign language for some of these modern concepts. So it's important to have these signs in order to be able to access these conversations. We tried to make the signs as visual as possible, a visual representation of the concept, what it means.
Can we use these hand shapes?
If we use this sign, I feel it is difficult to visualise the concept of an urban heat island. Need to show it is coming from the sun.
Looks like a bomb, doesn't it?
Why do you use concepts instead of words?
A good example is carbon footprint. You see that word carbon? This is the sign for carbon, C. But footprint, this would be the sign for footprint. But actually, it doesn't mean that in this context. So it's important to consider the actual meaning of the concept, because actually it means emissions. So we have the footprint being emitted from the sign carbon.
And now we can add another term to that. We've got carbon, but now we can talk about carbon capture. It's exactly the same sign, but we're adding a new concept. So we've got the carbon emissions, and then we're capturing them.
That's perfect, well done.
So that's a theory. What about the practice? I've come to Glasgow to meet a class of deaf students to see how they are learning these new signs.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome.
What does it feel like to have these new signs?
I think the new signs for climate change are really important for deaf people, as they help us understand scientific terminology through visual language. It's crucial that deaf people can grasp the exact meanings through these signs.
Deaf people need to know what's happening in the world. While hearing people usually have full access to information, deaf people often face barriers to accessing the same knowledge.
Yes, I'm worried about the changes in the weather, especially the extreme heavy rain flooding that's happening around the world. These events are concerning me.
They're more aware, and they're talking about the global issues. So hopefully, going forward, we can make an impact and make it more inclusive for the deaf pupils.
Communicating the climate crisis in ways we can all understand benefits everyone. I'm in Reading to meet the man behind the climate stripes.
This picture tells you everything you need to know about what's happening to our climate. We're seeing intuitive colours change from blues to reds, highlighting cold to warm. One glance will show you the very rapid warming we're seeing. The data for 2024 is not quite ready. It will be released next week, but we will be adding a very dark red stripe to the end of this graphic because 2024 will be the warmest year on record.
What actions do we need to take right now?
The good news is, because we are causing this problem, we can also solve it. If we choose to cut our reliance on fossil fuels, that will stabilise the planet's temperature and stop the problem getting even worse.
After a year that seemed to break all the climate records, the push to be more inclusive might just drive the change we need to see in 2025.
Climate change.